There are many budget laser therapy devices on Amazon and eBay, usually costing around $100 to $300, marketed for treating pain and arthritis in dogs. Vets will often advise home laser therapy for clients, but some of the devices recommended can cost as much as $6,000. So the question is, do these cheaper lasers work? Do they produce the power they actually claim? I bought a laser power meter for about $100 to find out. This is the Dormer laser, a class 3B handheld laser. It has 15 diodes, 12 red diodes rated at 5 milliwatts each, and 3 infrared diodes rated at 150 milliwatts each. That's a listed total power of 510 milliwatts, though for some reason their site listed at 660 milliwatts, which is incorrect. Adding up the power of all the diodes clearly results in 510 milliwatts. To test it, I taped over all but one of the diodes at the same time, pressing it against the power meter for about 15 seconds. Letting the sensor fully saturate before recording a reading. Then I repeated that for every diode on two separate lasers, one that I've used for a couple years and that travels with me, and one that I've only used at home that's about 1 year old. One quick caveat, this laser power meter isn't too precise. Other users testing it against high-end power meters showed it's accurate to about plus or minus 10%. Let's go over the numbers. Laser 1 totaled 234 milliwatts. All of those milliwatts came from the infrared diodes. The red diodes read 0. Laser 2 totaled 256 milliwatts, 252 infrared, and 4 red milliwatts. So at first this looks low compared to the 510 milliwatts listed, but this power meter isn't very sensitive below 5 milliwatts, and the red diodes are only rated at 5 milliwatts each. So they may be just too faint for the power meter to register accurately, even if they're working fine. If you assume each red diode may actually be putting out something like 4 milliwatts, just under the power meter's reliable floor, Laser 1 would come out closer to 282 milliwatts, and Laser 2 would come out closer to 496 milliwatts. Given our accuracy range, Laser 2 is basically producing the stated power. Remember, the laser power meter could be off by plus or minus 10%, so if the infrared diode readings of Laser 1 were off by, say, 10%, the power could be closer to 305 milliwatts. Of course, it also could be less. So why the gap between the two lasers? To understand that, let's briefly cover how lasers work. Laser therapy is a type of photobiomodulation that's commonly used on dogs to treat pain, inflammation, and wound healing, and for other conditions like osteoarthritis and intervertebral disc disease. Vet clinics will generally use powerful class 4 lasers. At-home devices like this one are lower powered, but they let owners treat their pets more often without a vet visit, which matters a lot for senior dogs, especially ones with back pain who find car rides uncomfortable. The two wavelengths do different jobs. The red 650 nanometer diodes are more surface level. The near-infrared 808 nanometer diodes are invisible to the eye, but penetrate much deeper into the tissue, and they're the higher-powered diodes on this device, so they matter most for effectiveness. That deeper penetrating near-infrared output is where Laser 2 performed closer to spec. Laser 1 reads noticeably lower, and that's not surprising. It's older, and it gets exposure to more temperature swings than my at-home unit. Laser diodes can lose power over time, especially with exposure to cold temperatures. So does this cheaper laser work? Based on this test, yes. Laser 2's output landed right about its rated power, well within the power meter's margin of error. Laser 1's lower reading looks like normal wear from age and temperature exposure, and not a sign the device was never accurate to begin with. For the price, this looks like a solid option for home use, and I'm comfortable continuing to use it on myself and my dogs. If you want me to get an even cheaper laser on Amazon and put it to the test, let me know in the comments.